Hello faithful viewers and welcome back to another Transformers review. This time we're looking at the 2007 leader class Megatron. So Megatron here has taken the form of a Cybertronian jet of very jagged proportions. Now you've got a primary colour scheme of light grey, complemented by icy blue patches, which we can see here and here, which fade away into the grey. Now these of course are meant to represent the ice in which he was frozen in the 2007 movie, and whilst the blue isn't accurate in any way to how he looks throughout the rest of the film per se, I actually quite like the blend that's going on here. Just adds an extra level of uniqueness about the design. Now, it is very obvious what becomes what. So he's got visible head syndrome right here with a small plate just covering his face. The legs, which we can see here, are hanging rather ugly from the base of the wings, and it's a challenge to get them underneath there. The arms morph into these things that we can see right here. It's a very odd design, but the Cybertronian aesthetic of the films doesn't really leave a lot of wiggle room, especially back in 2007. This isn't a masterpiece figure or studio series figure, so I think it can be forgiven for the visible body parts. But I just like the general design, to be honest. It's pretty unique for Megatron. It's arguably his most ferocious look that he ever had in the films, because in the second one he got a bit of a redesign. He became a tank, he became a lot more squat. Dark of the Moon, he was a lot more beaten up. Number 4 had Galvatron, and in number 5 it was a night aesthetic. So this is the most beastly, most ferocious, most menacing iteration of Megatron that we ever had in the films. And this figure does pull off that quite well. Now he's got a black button here in terms of gimmicks. And you've kind of got like a raptor screech going on there. In robot mode, there will be accompanying lights for the sound effect, and it triggers in the final stage of the transformation as well. But for vehicle mode, you've got speaker grills there, you've got the black button, and voila. This is a 2007 figure. I've never had to replace the batteries. They are long lasting. That is most impressive. Okay, so let's get to transformation, shall we? So it's been a hot minute since I last transformed him, just in general. Where do we begin? Well, we're going to start with the legs and getting them unclipped from underneath the wings. Bear with me as I go around the camera. So, it's a nice jet design though, isn't it? It is. We're going to unclip the backs of the legs from the other side of the wings, just like this. And then let's move the figure up and rotate these down and out like that, keeping him rotated like this. And then we're going to roll all of that out like so, and then bring the legs down. That bit just rotated of its own accord. That's actually quite nice. And then we're going to, you can see that the legs are kind of broken here, which is actually part of the transformation. As we straighten them, then the feet will fold down, and this is the figure's first automorph gimmick. So, do that. It's meant to fold down on itself. Again, it's an old figure. Well, that one sort of set. But straightening the legs, they come down, and that is basically his lower half done. So if we come to the top half, it is a very easy transformation, as you're seeing, and it all does naturally come together. So let's get the faceplate down there. Let's push in the central nose cone there, and then let's detach this bit if these all haven't detached themselves anyway. And as you can see, lifting this up is moving the wings in. So this is the second automorph. And to be hinging all of that like that, and that's collapsed everything up, we're going to rotate the arms out and then just allow all of this to come and collapse in on itself, basically. So now we just need to reattach him at several key points. So at the shoulders, plug them in. That one's already done it. Then at the base here, we need to plug that in right there. Straighten that. We're going to rotate the head and attach it into place. When we come to the arms, we're going to rotate these, we're going to fold these bits back, and we're going to lever down the hands. Just like that. Try and get him standing as straight as you can despite his back heaviness. And the last thing, come to this little panel here just above his crotch. I said there were accompanying lights. They are in the chest. I don't know how well they came across on camera, but they are there still. And you get the raptor screech once again. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our very back-heavy 07 Leader Class Megatron, fully transformed into a ferocious robot mode. Okay, so Megatron here in robot mode is an absolute beast, but sadly, once again, it isn't accurate very much to how he looks in the film. But again, limitations and the difficulties of translating a complex movie design into a toy. I mean, what can you do, especially for 2007? Now, looking at that noggin, we've got an icy blue head with a completely black face, which is a strange choice, really, because there's plenty of detail in there, but the black kind of just masks it all. Still, we do have some light piping, so let me just demonstrate that by turning off the lights. And there we go, that's actually really nice. And the shoulder spikes here also illuminate if you get them caught at just the right angle with the light, but the eyes there, very glowy, very lovely. He's very skeletal in appearance, isn't he, with the grey and the black patterns, making it all look like he's made out of exposed bones, which is very scary and very appropriate for Megatron, I suppose. Massive wings jut out of the back, not hidden mainly due to the automorph feature running through them because there are loads of gears and all of that, and they flip out for the transformation as you saw earlier. Massive bits of kibble hang out from the arms, as we can see here, and you'll notice with my figure this kind of droops down. It's the age of the figure plus the amount of times I played with him over the years. And he's got two massive claw-like feet, and despite the size of them, he is very back heavy. Now, he is holding himself up decently enough, but he, get him at the wrong angle and he will fall over. So there's quite a lot of junk going on here. You've got this massive bit here, you've got the nose cone of a jet, you've obviously got the wings folded up. There's a hell of a lot of stuff here, and it's kind of a miracle actually that these feet, as wide as they are pretty wide, but proportionally compared to everything else, it's a miracle that he does actually stand up as well as he does. But overall, I really do like the design, despite it not being accurate to how he is in the film. It's very devilish, it's ferocious, just like Megatron should be. So gimmicks wise, his right hand can disconnect from his wrist and become the spiked end of an extendable chain whip, I believe they like to call it. So there is a white switch right here, and when you press that, in theory, his hand should shoot out, but it just does release it. So do that, and then you can pull that straight, and then you can pull all of this out like that, and you've got a chain whip. You actually activate it with the black button here. You can't get it to go very high, unfortunately, but at least it kind of does whip. And then to put all of that back in, you just need to open this cover here, and then just kind of reattach his wrist, fold that in nice and neatly, and then slap that down just like that, and fall and knock him over as you go, basically. There you go, that's that back in. And then the left arm has the second feature, which is his fusion cannon. So let's get that fist, hand, whatever you want to call it, folded out of the way for vehicle mode orientation, plugged in there. Then bring this round like that. Now, if you remember the 2007 movie, he connected his arms, and you can actually still do that. So let's get the other fist, hand, claw, whatever you want to call it, out of the way. I'm just trying to spread his fingers so I can plug that in, sort of. And then you'll notice these little claw bits here actually should attach in to this bit here, I do believe. It's probably not going to be a very tight grip considering the age of the figure, but something sort of like that. And then apparently this bit here can also slide across. Or I can tear it off. There is like a little trigger thing on the bottom here, this white tab. But there you go. When you finally get the trigger working properly, then these bits fold out like that. And that is the fusion cannon, you know, properly working. It's kind of like a mech tech sort of thing for Dark of the Moon. Like with the deluxe class ones, it doesn't hold in place, but it's a similar principle. So little fold out cannons, I suppose, there for the rest of the fusion assembly. And yeah, but that's kind of it. It's not the best design of the world, is it? Because it's peculiar, his 07 design, combining his arms to make it, but that's it in action. In terms of articulation then, so Megatron's head can't look left or right on its own because of the way it clips into the neck there. So you have to unclip it if you want him looking up like that. And then if you want him looking right or left, then he can do so once he's free of that clip. His neck is sort of a ball joint, so in theory he has quite a lot of range of motion, but he does have to be disconnected first. So plug that back in. The arms can move up that far. They can't really move back because of the wings, only about that far. They can spread out only about that far. In terms of a rotational joint though, there is a 360 rotation there. You've got an elbow bend of only about that much, and then the wrists, the fists and all of that can go up like that. There is no rotation of any kind, unfortunately, because of the whole gimmick aspect. At the waist, there is no rotation. His legs can kick out that far. They can't really kick back. And so spread, you've got a rotation of out that far and in that far, and then you've got a just under 90-degree bend at the knee. And then in terms of the feet, a little bit of toe wiggle waggle, but it is a spring-loaded automorph system, so it doesn't really stay. Overall articulation is quite limited, really, just due to the amount of gimmicks he's got and all of the kibble he's got. Okay, for size comparisons then, we'll keep this quite brief. Megatron on the left and the Nightwatch rendition of the Optimus Prime that came out in the same toy line on the right. And then comparing Megatron with the Revenge of the Fallen leader class Optimus Prime, you can see that the successor Optimus is quite a bit bigger than the previous one, and he towers over Megatron on the left here. And then finally, here he is with Mysterio, who is a fair bit smaller. Okay, let's look at getting Megatron transformed back into his vehicle mode. Now, it's been a hot minute since I've last done this. Bear with me as I go around the camera and try and talk you through it. What we're going to do to begin with is do some automorph with this front switch here. We're going to pull that down. That will detract or retract, I should say, the spikes and close up some panels on his chest. Then we're going to take his head, we're going to flip it up and rotate it back, disconnect him at the shoulders here, and then take his hands and fold them and plug them into his forearms, just like this, on both sides. And then we're going to come to the back here, we're going to extend the nose cone basically and just unplug his head like that. That's going to allow the automorph of his wings to do whatever it is they need to do and get spread out. We're going to come to the torso midriff area of the figure and unplug his butt basically, and that's going to basically unfold the entire figure. Shut up, Megatron. So, continue folding all this round and plug the nose cone section in, level the head out and hide it with the face flap there. And then we're going to try and plug in the arms at the shoulders. Shout out, Mags. Rotate these bits, because you've got wheels. You've got wheels there, there, and there, so they all want to be facing down, and the colourful blue bits wants to be facing up. Then you've got to try and plug him in, basically here, to the underside of the nose cone section. So now we've sorted out the top half of the figure, now we are going to come to the legs. This is arguably the most difficult part of the transformation. It's not difficult per se, but you'll see what I mean. So with the legs here, we actually want to break them. So snap them like that, and this is automorph, and that will allow the toes to actually collapse up. So with this one, I don't know if you'll be able to make this out, but I am basically breaking it at the knee That allows all of that to fold like that, so he wants to be like that. Then we're going to collapse all of that in like so. Then we're rotating this section up, keeping these legs as fanned out and as spread as they could possibly be. Rotate this bit round, and then you need to try and fold the legs under the wings, and this is what's difficult. There you go, that's one. And that's two. And then crunch all of that back into place because it will have inevitably come out. And then repair the front, which will also have inevitably come out. And there you go, more or less, that is Megatron fully transformed into his vehicle mode. So final thoughts on Megatron here. He is a very nostalgic figure for me, as it was the very first leader class figure I ever got. And I remember I got him for Christmas Day and I was so excited, and I knew I was getting it in advance, despite my parents' best efforts to hide it from me. And I knew exactly where it was that they were hiding him, so I kept taking sneak peeks at it. Okay, all right, don't at me, I was a kid, come on. The figure is very big and bulky. There's a lot of kibble that kind of hinders his posability to a grievous degree, actually. But he is a great shelf display piece and looks really cool. Yeah, sure, he's not accurate to the final movie design, but again, it's a product of 2007. You know, they're still trying to figure this out at that stage. Yes, there are superior Megatrons that came out of the years following this one. The Masterpiece one springs to mind, and the Studio Series one does too. Although I'm not quite sure I'm very keen on the legs on that one, to be honest. But anyway, at the end of the day, this is still a very enjoyable leader class figure. He's quick to transform, he's plenty of play features, and was, for many years, the centerpiece of my collection. So, on that basis, I do recommend him, but obviously with a little bit of bias. If he doesn't rock your boat, there are more modern and superior iterations of this Megatron out there, and they are probably more accessible as well. But, you know, don't knock this guy too soon, because he's cool for what he is. So anyway, thank you everybody so much for stopping by and checking out this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share it around to help out the channel. And until the next time, see you all later.